For your viewing pleasure, this broadcast of the Municipal Council meeting of Alpena is made possible by the funding provided by the City of Alpena. Thank you for your generosity.
Good evening and welcome to Alpena City Council meeting of November 4th, 2013. Call to order, please.
Tyler? Here. Nielsen?
Here.
Nowak?
Here.
Sexton? Here. Walagora?
Here. Rise to the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We had the opportunity to read the minutes of regular session October 21st, 2013 without issue. Any modifications to the agenda this evening? Okay, citizens appearing before City Council on agenda and non-agenda items are allowed 5 minutes each to address your concerns. This is the only time during the City Council meeting that citizens are allowed to address Council. If you do, please come to the podium and state your name and address for our records.
Hi, I'm Julie Dietz. My address is 430 South State Avenue. I'm a little nervous, so I don't like speaking in front of crowds, but anyway, I'm here tonight to read a letter I wrote to the editor of the Alpena News. Unfortunately, the letter was not submitted to the paper before the October 23rd cutoff date for letters concerning tomorrow's election. I've given this a lot of thought, and in spite of my dislike of public speaking, I feel strongly enough about this incident that I would like to read my letter to the council. And this is exactly as it's written. I'm not going to change dates or anything, but as a recent resident of the city of Alpena, it has been my privilege to be eligible to vote in the last few city elections. Recently, I observed an event that was surprising and disappointing to me. Last week, I was at the Black Sheep Pub with a friend and observed Councilman Sexton in an intense conversation with the owner, Chris. Chris's daughter, Anna Bass, is a write-in candidate for city council. Mr. Sexton relayed that people might blame Anna if Mike Nunley was to be elected to the city council, and this might not be good for business at Black Sheep. He spoke only to Anna's mother, even though the candidate herself was standing a few feet away. In my opinion, his intention was to discourage Miss Bass from her candidacy. Anna Bass is a citizen of Alpena. She has the right, like any other interested citizen, to run for the council seat and should be commended for her willingness to participate. How often do we hear of the need to encourage young people, Anna is 20, to stay and to become involved in our community? Anna's efforts should be commended. I'm not writing in support of a particular candidate, but in support of all the candidates. Their desire to become involved, to participate, and to be heard is what makes our system, although not perfect, work. Next week, the citizens of Alpena will go to the polls, and they alone will be blamed or credited for the election results. May the best man or woman win. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Julie.
Yes, my name is Chuck Finteski. I live at 615 8th Street, and I want to know why this council allows this to be a political forum or in any individual candidate. This should not be about any one candidate or all candidates. This should be for city business and city business only. Why is this being allowed, Mr. Mayor? If if you can't control this, you should resign your job, because this is not what this is for. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Okay. The only announcement this evening is November 5th is Election Day. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. On the consent agenda, we have A is bills to be allowed in the amount of $603,291.69. One city council appointment to the Wildlife Sanctuary Committee for a 3-year term expiring 11/4/2016 is Aaron Riefel. 2 mayoral reappointments to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term expiring 11/1/2016 is Mark Hunter and Mike Glowinski.
I move we approve the consent agenda. Can I go someone or?
Before we vote, I did, because we put the amount of the bills on there, I was going to ask Karen for just a clarification of why it was so much higher this month than normally, just for the record. Or
Yeah, and I did take a look at that, and dredging is over 200,000, so that's unusual that we didn't have that on our bills. Another large one was the United Water, which we have every month. It happened to go on the same run of bills. That was 155,000. Our dental insurance was 17,000. Our Bentley GPS was 25,000. So a lot of that type of thing just happened to all come on the same warrant.
Thank you, Karen.
Karen, just a quick question. Like the dredging, that wasn't our money. Why does that still go?
We have to pay it, and then we will ask for reimbursement. So you'll probably see some more on that one.
Are there 3 pays in this month?
No.
Only 2.
Uh-huh. Now payroll, there were 3, but warrants, there'll be 2, because they only come during each council meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, you ready?
Nielsen?
Yes.
This was for the consent agenda. Nowak?
Yes.
Sexton?
Yes.
Walagora?
Aye.
Eiler?
Yes.
Okay, no proclamations or public hearings, so we'll skip right down to report of officers. And we have several bids this evening. Start with Public Safety Facility Energy Optimization Proposal. Steve Schultz is here.
I've got several bids that Rich Sellinger put together, and I'm here and I'll do the best I can to answer questions and things, but I think we've kind of got everything talked about that we think they want you questions on, so I'll do my best. The public safety facility has had issues with the boilers and air conditioning units, as well as the HVAC control system. Last year, one of the boilers failed midwinter and needed to have emergency repairs performed. And at that time, the repair firm indicated that the boilers, due to age and inefficiency, should be replaced. We have likewise had failures in the condensing units for the air conditioning and with extensive repairs undertaken. The existing HVAC control system is a proprietary system with service call repairs coming from SAG. On September 24th, 2013, the City of Alpena received statements of qualifications for firms who specialize in energy optimization to evaluate public safety facility and provide recommendations with particular attention to the above referenced issues. The city took this opportunity to not only evaluate recommendations for replacement and energy efficient upgrades to those systems, but also to evaluate energy optimization for the entire facility. A total of 4 statements were received, and upon review by city staff, we narrowed it down to 2 firms and asked them each to submit a proposal for these services. Upon receipt, the proposal from AKT Peerless was more detailed and less expensive than other firms. We have attached the proposal from AKT Peerless for your information, and it is our recommendation that City Council authorize an energy optimization proposal from AKT Peerless in the amount of $8,200. If we utilize their services to assist in the development of the specifications, an amendment would be brought back to City Council with the price and scope of services. This funding would be made available through the Public Safety Construction Fund for these services.
I have a question. Obviously, I'm not sure if this is Greg or Karen. I've asked a little bit earlier, but I want to make sure I'm clear on this, is that I looked earlier and we had in our budget $80,000 for a new boiler system.
and that was a capital improvement project, but it wasn't included in the budget. So my question is, do we have money set aside somewhere that we can actually use for any of the repairs to the building if this comes back and says we should fix this, this, and this? So,
We have set aside there's about $350,000 right now in the public safety construction fund. That was after the building was built. Council said, let's keep the rest in the fund for capital projects, and we can only spend the interest on the projects. We did that for a number of years, and then, obviously, when the interest rates dropped, we weren't able to accumulate anymore. So now council has allowed us to take it from the principal. If it's a large project like the boiler or the roof we're having trouble with, because we can't take it from the interest. So we do have to come to you every time we want to take it from the principal.
for every project, then I'm assuming that you'd have to come to us and...
If we don't have enough interest, yes.
Okay.
If it's on the building, it's the larger projects, it's not little maintenance projects, it's like a large project like the boiler. Something else I wanted to clarify too. Oh, it is in the budget, but it's in the back. I don't know if you saw that in your budget.
Page 123.
123 of
okay.
the budget. It is not required that we budget for those type of projects by
Okay.
state law, but we do put in what we've spent on that one. It's a very good outline of all the capital projects we've done in that fund.
How much is left in the principal?
About 350, approximately.
Minus 80,000.
Yeah,
Well, will that 8,200 come out of the interest or?
there's hardly any
Okay,
interest.
So it would come off the
So,
principal,
it'll come
right?
off.
So we would need to approve that it comes out.
Yes.
Okay, for this project. Okay.
Usually when we do a capital project, everything leading up to it, for example, this evaluation, everything would be part of that capital project.
Okay.
One something now.
I have nothing to add.
Bill, are you just there for questions or?
For backup.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can attest that, yes, we need boilers and HVAC systems. And engineering has done a wonderful job in lining all the ducts up in a row. This is the best way to go.
I know this came up last year. The boiler, I know we talked about the boilers last year and it was an issue, and what we did with them at this point is just brought them along. They're just,
Yeah, one of them developed a crack in the main guts of it, lack of a better word. And so they were able to weld that back together once, but they said that once you weld it, it's even more susceptible to later additional cracks and so forth. Apparently the boilers are run side by side in tandem, and they switch off the load back and forth just like the air conditioners do. But with the age of them and so forth, they said that you shouldn't replace one, you need to replace both. And the one that you welded isn't going to last long. It's just going to get you through for the moment. Our hope had been to replace it over the summer. We were just going to get through the winter, and when it got warm out, we'd replace it. But then we found that the air handling system was faulty also. And even though we have engineers on staff, it takes more specialized expertise to figure out exactly what we need. You don't just go buy one. You have to develop specs, and that's what this is going to do for us. Is tell us what we need and give us some advice on how best to address it.
And with the 2013-14 budget under the Public Safety Facility Construction Fund, they do list both the boiler replacement and roof gutter replacement as projects. And of course, you, at the last meeting, approved having the roof looked at, and then that will lead to whatever repairs or replacement is needed there for the gutter system and so forth. And we know once both of those projects are gonna take a considerable chunk out of that principal, and the original intent was not to use it, but obviously with interest rates being about 0.25% or something, you're not getting any kind of interest. So this is still a good use of the funds because it means we're not using the general fund, having to go into that or borrow money to pay for it. That money's there and we use it. When it is gone, it is gone, but it's gone for the use it was intended to maintain that building.
And I think that building is 20 years?
Yes, the fact that it's been there for 20
So
years
it's
is
time to
pretty
start
good.
using we have to start putting some money into it.
Right,
Yeah, exactly.
right. You now
We
begin
can't
to get-
afford a brand new building.
Right.
We need to make sure we're taking care of the ones that we have.
We've taken care of minor upgrades and maintenance issues, but now with a 20-year building, old building, it's starting to get, where now it's major replacements that are gonna cost more than what any interest would allow us to.
Very good.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Noah?
Yes.
Sexton?
Yes.
Walagora?
Aye.
Tyler?
Yes.
Nielsen?
Yes.
Okay, next is the raw water intake evaluation and recommendations.
On September 24th, 2013, the city of Alpena received statements of qualifications from consultants to evaluate the city of Alpena raw water intake and provide recommendations for future improvements. The existing intake is in a relatively shallow water with lake levels at record lows. The water depth over these intake points is minimal. Last winter, as an example, we had one of the intakes freeze up, which required a diver to assist us in getting it open and flowing freely. The intakes are also influenced heavily by the discharge from the Thunder Bay River and water turbidity within the bay. Through this evaluation process, we are looking at methods to improve the raw water intake and minimize the influences upon it. The city received qualifications from two firms, Fishbeck Thompson, Carr & Huber, and C2AE. Upon review of the qualifications received by staff, the proposal from FTC&H identified significantly more experience than the other firm. The city elected to proceed through the proposal process with this firm. After meeting with the representatives of FTC&H, they developed the attached scope of services and proposal. The scope of services meets all the requirements as specified in our qualification statement, and the not-to-exceed price for the services to be provided is $23,900. The city has budgeted $25,000 in the current budget for this project. It is our recommendation that the city council approve the proposal received from FTC&H in the amount not to exceed $23,900 for the Alpena water intake evaluation.
Steve, in layman's terms, this means that we're not going out far enough or deep enough with our raw water intake.
Used to be, and with the lake levels the way they are, we've got to either get out farther or go in a different location. Look at options of going in a different location, pumping that water back to the treatment plant. Different options. We're looking for anything to solve the issues that we have now.
How far out do you think you'll have to go? Sorry. One bridge too far.
Currently, the inner intake is 1,000 feet out, and the outer intake is 2,000 feet out. We've got about 3 feet of water on top of outer, which is it's definitely a concern. And if the lake levels continue going down, it will just become more of a concern. I think we've looked at going out about 5,000 feet to get into water that's, I believe it's 35 to 40 feet, which will give us a bit of more comfort. We're still going to have the influence of the river, so we want the firm to look at all of our options. It may be cheaper to put something in, cheaper water, and have most of it over land, because it's a lot cheaper to put pipe in the ground than to put it underwater. Obviously, your costs are probably 2 to 3 times higher putting it in an underwater situation. That's what the firm was hired for, to give us those their expertise, and they do have a lot of expertise. They work a lot on the Lake Michigan side. They put in 3 to 4 intakes on the Lake Michigan side. So they definitely have the experience that we're looking for. And we also want them to take a look at the condition of the existing plant. It may be better for us to look at a plant elsewhere closer to deeper water and then pump that water in after it's been treated. We want to look at all the options and look at what the cost is going to be and then make an informed decision after we know what they find. But we're looking at probably extending out to 5,000 to get into 35-foot water, which is more than double what the existing one does.
Thank you both.
I do have one question. This is an optimist question. What if lake levels go up and And then what?
Well, when I first moved up here in 1986, lake levels were at a historic high. And they said that, it was going to take 100 years for the level to go back down. Obviously, it didn't take 100 years, so, we're at the mercy of Mother Nature. If the lake levels go up, then we're in good shape. But I don't think we want to take the risk with the trend that we see and that we have seen for the last 10 years.
It doesn't matter how deep it is, it's that it's deep enough.
It needs to be deep enough so you don't have the risk of running out of water. And last winter, obviously, with both intakes being froze up, we were within two hours of not having a water supply for the city. And I do not want to get in a situation scared.
I know you're dealing with ifs at this point, but it seems like a likely scenario that it's going to go out further. Do we have the pumps and the ability to pump it that much further, or is that going to open up another?
Well, right now, we don't pump water in from the lake. It flows in gravity into a wet well, and then we lift it up into the plant. Obviously, they'll have to look at, if we get it out 5,000 feet, is there going to be enough depth there? Is there going to be enough head pressure to get it into the wet well? And that's something that they're going to have to look at. That was definitely a consideration, though. We know that shore well is, it's limited by what gravity can bring into it. And the need may be to put a pump station someplace out in the lake, and that has been done before.
How far out can we go, aren't there, without encroaching in areas that we shouldn't?
I don't have the exact answer for that, Susan. That's something that I would hope that they'll be able to.
It just seemed like an an incredible amount of money, but I talked to Greg about it today, and he has all confidence that they will do, that there's just that amount of work involved in it.
There's a lot of variables involved,
So-
and a lot of research that has to be done.
I kind of did the same thing, that I kind of looked at that and looked at the incredible amount of money, but, I've been in business for a long time, and there's a lot of things that I've learned that basically, there's a lot of things I don't know that I don't even know yet. Right. And I think that's what this does for us, is that it's somebody that has the expertise that will tell us it's not worth going out 5,000 feet. Here, you have to move over and then go out. So I think this makes sense.
Our feeling is, no matter what the final recommendation is, you're still going to be spending $1.5 million to $3 million probably, wouldn't you say, Mike? Somewhere between $1.5 million and $3 million.
For the new intake?
Yeah, overall.
Now, that depends on how far.
Well, that's why I gave it that range.
And if it's going to be a submerged intake, it's going to have to be, it's going to be 3 times what it would take for regular pipe. And they also have to look at the condition of the existing intake. If we're going to add to it, we want to make sure that the condition of the existing intake is going to serve us for the next 20 years. You don't want to put $1 million and $2 million into something that, it's not going to last. It's hard to say how much. It's hard to say how much it will cost.
But if you're looking even at $1.5 million or $1 million, to spend $23,000 to make sure you're doing it right, you've done all that, the research to make sure that you're not throwing dollars away at that amount, it's well worth. It's a very small percentage and well worth it.
If we double the length of the intake, it's going to be minimum $2 million, I would say.
So you're looking at
We need to get it right.
But then if you compare that to the price of building a new treatment plant, you're probably talking 20. So,
Are there grants? Who helps you with that?
there is no help out there. You can get low interest loans, and that's about the best help that you're going to get from state or federal government.
Wow.
And it all falls, unfortunately, it falls on the ratepayers.
Okay. Any other questions? Sorry. How did that sound? Sorry.
I'll make the motion.
Second it. Whatever motion he's going to make.
Starting to cheat on that.
You told me just so moved. Say it out loud.
Sexton,
Yes.
Walagora,
Aye.
Eiler,
Yes.
Nielsen,
Yes.
Noah.
Yes. Thought I heard Noah, sorry. Yours.
All right, next up, process turbidity meter replacement for the water treatment plant.
All right, on October 15th, the city received and opened bids for replacement of process turbidity meters at the water treatment plant. Bid documents were sent to various firms and posted on the city's website. 3 bids were received. Perceptus Controls at $42,502. Utilities Instrumentation for $48,567. And Windemuller for $76,670. The bids were reviewed by the city of Alpena and Terry Goujon, the water treatment plant supervisor. All 3 bidders met the specifications as issued, and it is our recommendation that the city award the process turbidity meter replacement project at the water treatment plant to Perceptive Controls for the as-bid price of $42,502. We do have $45,000 in the budget for this item.
Nothing that came as a surprise.
No. This is a federally mandated metering that we do for turbidity. It's something we have to do. All the parts that we have right now are obsolete. You can't repair them, or you can repair them, but you can't buy parts. The original system was in 2002, so if everybody remembers DOS before Windows, that's what the system was running. So we're getting a little upgrade here, well needed, much needed. So.
Steve, could you precisely and yet succinctly tell us what a process turbidity meter means?
He's already on his way up.
Before the meeting, I just wanted to say, I'm going to get the questions, let's talk about it. No, go ahead, Buster.
Turbidity is one of the main control factors that the water treatment plant uses to make sure the process is operating. Basically, we put water through a sand filter, and that sand filter is designed to take out particulates. Out the bottom of that sand filter, if the turbidity starts getting higher, that's an indication that we're getting breakthrough through the filter, and breakthrough can be a problem. In Milwaukee back in 1993, they had a serious breakthrough problem. The operators did not have this kind of equipment, so they weren't able to change the process until it was too late. That turbid water got out into the system, and it ended up in 300,000 people getting cryptosporidiosis, which is a very bad parasite. 7 people died from it, so the continuous turbidity monitors were a federal law that went into effect as a result of that outbreak that had happened in Milwaukee. And these, originally they went in 2001. They were new technology at that time. And like Steve said, they have to be, that data has to be drawn and stored continuously. And with the DOS system, obviously it's out of date. The equipment has been running continuously while the plant operates, because it has to run while we're filtering water. So it's been running for 12 years, and it hasn't failed yet. We've been able to, anything that has failed, we've been able to piece back together, but it's to the point now where we need to upgrade the equipment. And obviously it's something that, based on past history, it's required, and it's necessary to protect public health. Hopefully, when we get this system in, it'll last for another 12 years.
Very good.
Thank you.
Motion, right?
Yes, sir.
I move we approve Perceptive Controls for the contract for the turbidity meter replacement.
Second.
Walagora,
Aye.
Eiler,
Yes.
Nielsen,
Yes.
Noah,
Yes.
Sexton.
Yes.
All right. Next up, is the dumpster service contract. What you got?
It's funny about that.
Rich isn't here today.
He's got one day after the other, that's what kind of smell, he's up.
No, he set me up. In March of 2010, the city entered into a 3-year contract with L&N Disposal to provide the necessary dumpsters, emptying of trash cans, and supply of liners. The current contract is set to expire on December 31st, 2013, and does allow for the renewal of this contract for one additional 3-year period, if both parties agree. The city has received excellent service from L&N Disposal for the previous 3-year period, and therefore the engineering department did request them to submit proposed unit prices for the next 3-year period through December 31st of 2016. L&N did provide us with the attached bid proposal outlining the prices for the contract renewal. L&N Disposal has submitted pricing for the next 3 years that is lower than the price that is currently under contract. The proposed contract renewal is for each of the 3 years, $4.75 per cubic yard and $1.75 per can. We did review the contract, and the previous contract had stated that there was a 2013 increase to $5 and $2, like you see here, but it's evident now looking through the bills that they never did change that. They've been billing us at the $4.75 and $1.75 rate. So the memo indicates that they, per the contract, the prices are less, but in actuality, what they've been billing us is the same as the next 3 years' prices that they're proposing. So, just based on this review, is our recommendation that we renew the prices and renew the contract with L&N for the next 3 years.
Can I ask I guess I can ask, what, trash cans they do, because the DPW does some and L&N does some?
Yes, I'm trying to think.
Don't they do the ones downtown?
They do like the downtown.
I think they do all the ones in the
And then-
DDA.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the DPW does the parks?
Does the parks, and, yeah.
It just seemed like a curious thing. I thought we did all of ours, but
Yeah, not all of them. I think it has to do a lot with frequency of, how often they have to be, addressed and done.
Okay.
I move we extend our dumpster service contract with L&N for an additional 3 years at the stated prices.
Eiler?
Yes.
Nielsen?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Sexton?
Yes.
Walagora?
Aye. Alright. Next up is rugs for city facilities.
All right. Memos keep getting shorter, so I guess that's okay. On October 29th, the city of Alpena received an open bids for the rugs for city facilities for weekly service to all city buildings for a 3-year period ending December 31st, 2016. The bids were sent to 3 firms and made available on the city's website. And we received 2 bids as follows: Aero Uniform for $67.50 and Thompson Linen for $87 plus a $2 delivery charge per location. Something to note is that Thompson Linen did submit an additional bid in the amount of $67 per week plus $2 delivery charge, but it was to provide all black rugs as opposed to the rugs we provide now are different colors at the different facilities. Brown at Public Works and gray at Public Safety. But as of right now, the decision was to stay with the same colors and stay within those specifications that we set forth. And so after reviewing the proposed prices, we are recommending that the rug contract goes to Aero Uniform for the weekly service call to all city buildings at the requested unit prices totaling $67.50 for a total of $35.10 per year.
So the actual bid price then from Thompson was $69, roughly, if I'm reading it correctly. $69 versus the...
With the change in the specifications to all black rugs.
Right, because then it'd be $2 for each of the 3 delivery sites.
So roughly they're around $1,000 more per year with that additional. Okay.
I know I said this a few times, but you guys haven't put up with it for long. You know, I'd always rather go with the Alpena company, and I know it's tough when there's a price difference, because we have to balance being stewards of the taxpayer money and getting the best deal with keeping money in town, so I just throw that out there before I go down on it, just to put that reasoning out. And Thompson Lenz has done a good job for us in the past as well.
And I understand that point, and I agree with that as well, because I do like the idea of keeping everything local. My fear, though, is a few weeks ago, we had one bid come in on something, and I'm afraid that if we always give, you know, the automatic, it's like, let's go with the local, the outside vendors are gonna all of a sudden not vote or not bid on anything, and we're going to lose bidders, and then we're going to be back down to just one bid on some of these. So that is a concern that I have, but I do understand your point as well.
I've heard that concern, and that's a legitimate concern for sure.
Well, we also have the local company charging a $2 delivery charge per location, and the Grayling company not charging anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is weird.
Good point.
I agree with Sean, but this is different enough in price that we need to watch the purse strings.
I don't know.
Is it ever appropriate to put it back out there again?
Well,
I'm not sure how many different vendors
since
there are.
there were only two, but
And the thing is, staff looks at the same thing, is if you start automatically going towards the local, those
I understand.
basically outside the county, they're gonna begin to say, why spend the time? Because this is a fairly small one, but on others that are bigger, you spend a lot of time putting that bid together and basically have no chance if they say, I'm not gonna bother. Then you're limiting your pool, and in some cases, it's very small, and then how sharp is the pencil of the local bidder? If they know, they don't have to worry about other firms that also have very good qualifications and can do the work at a good price, but they find no reason to bid. So it's a balancing act, but in terms of, especially when dollars are tight, I believe we need to, everybody's bidding on the same thing, so nobody has any advantage, other than, they are local, and I said the same thing. Why do we have a $2 service charge for delivery on somebody who's a few blocks away, but somebody who's driving 80 miles isn't charging anything?
We do have local bidders preference, and it's
And they don't.
too big of a difference.
Right, and that's true as well.
But and I guess my argument would be that the only reason why there's such a huge difference between their bid price is the fact that we're specific about what color rugs we want at each location. Let's just say, for argument's sake, we were okay with going with all black rugs, and that was the bid specifications were all black rugs, or for that matter, whatever rug color you prefer. It would come in and they would only be $3 difference.
Well, the only thing we don't know is whether that would change the other bid as well.
We don't,
Because once-
We not know that?
right.
We don't know that.
So the only
Because
way
they
to know
didn't
that-
bid on one color, they bid what we asked for.
Those specific
Arrow.
colors.
But if we went back and said we will accept all black, that may also
might
change.
be down to
Right,
$55.
right, theirs may drop then as well. We'd have to get new bids from both in order to have apples to apples. We asked for something specific, only one met that qualification.
I must have
met the bid.
misstated my question. The Arrow, the Grayling company, will provide the 3 different colors?
Right.
Yes, they will.
Well, we are the customer. That's what we want.
Right.
That's what they do.
And they all had the same bid specs.
I don't know.
Well, I'll move that
We've had our answers.
we award the rug contract to Arrow Uniform of Grayling for a bid price of $67.50.
I second.
Nielsen?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Sexton?
Little no.
No. Walagora?
No.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. No communications and petitions, no unfinished business. We do have new business, which is resolution number 2013-14, a resolution in support of commitment and cooperation by the Alpena Downtown Development Authority with the Michigan Main Street program in becoming a select Main Street community.
Good evening.
Leslie Dort.
Nobody's got my back.
Adam might hop
Okay, good evening. The Alpena Downtown Development Authority is applying to become a select member of the Michigan Main Street program. Last October, the City Council voted to support becoming an associate level Main Street program. We've been an associate now for a year and are eligible to apply to become a select level. By becoming a select level Main Street community, Alpena's DDA will have access to various consulting services to strengthen commercial activity, improve buildings in the downtown, and stimulate development and maintain historic preservation of our downtown. In 1980, back on April 21st, the city adopted an ordinance number 110 creating the DDA under Public Act 179 of 1975. The intentions then were to strengthen the downtown business district, promote economic growth, encourage commercial revitalization, and historic preservation. The DDA provides the community with the necessary legal, monetary, and organizational tools to revive economically distressed areas either through state-initiated projects or with private development projects. Our DDA district has grown both geographically in area and value. In January of 05, the development plan and TIF plan were amended for the DDA. Traditional brick and mortar projects as well as historic preservation activities have remained key elements of DDA's initiatives, and it's time now to give us some more tools for our merchants and the community as a whole. Today we're asking that the City of Alpena adopt resolution number 2013-14, a resolution in support of commitment and cooperation by the Alpena DDA with the Michigan Main Street program in becoming a select Main Street community. Any questions?
Yes. I do have a couple. First of all, being new and such, could you explain exactly where the boundaries of the DDA are currently?
In general terms, we start at the lake, go down to 4th, down Chisholm, down 4th, then we go head to Lasting Expressions, and across the river to include Noah and wrap into the first traffic light.
And then another question I have, I've noticed on here, it says, it's therefore resolved the city and the DDA agree to employ a full-time Main Street manager who will coordinate, facilitate, and work this program. I'm under the assumption that's yourself.
That is the assumption.
Okay.
In most Main Street communities, 98% of them within Michigan, the DDA director and the Main Street manager are the same person. And the DDA had voted to put my position to full-time as of July.
Could you talk
Great.
about
Adam wanted to add
more
something.
Assets, what we get,
Yeah.
what's out of it. What I'm excited about is actually the additional reporting that we have to do from our DDA to Main Street. There are numbers we should have. What business growth and decline do you see? How many employers, how many employees? What is the effect on your community as a whole? So those are numbers that we could probably dig up, but we don't have at our fingertips, where Main Street requires us to report on that monthly and then in more detail quarterly, which would then be available to everyone in the community. Within the first year, we would have both a baseline assessment of our downtown district and a resource team visit that would do basically a $30,000 market analysis of our downtown, which is just something we couldn't afford to do on our own. So although Main Street doesn't give us cash, it gives us resources and people to do these things. They'll come and train us to be not top-down leaders, but allow the businesses and the community to tell us what they want, and then the role of the DDA Main Street turns into facilitators of what those volunteer committees want, which I think puts the power back in the hands of the people who work and shop and live downtown.
There you go.
So that's what excites me about it.
Yes, thank you. It's a pretty exciting adventure. I'll tell you it is.
We've been following it for many years. The Glenn Colossus back in, oh my goodness, years back, recommended to the DDA board to adopt the 4 committees. So it feels like we've been doing it, we just haven't been getting the resources on top of it.
$30,000 is nothing to sneeze at in terms of a marketing analysis. Most communities can't afford it.
Well, and we also have $30,000 per year, each of 5 years in design services. So there is somebody from SHPO who will come and do the architectural drawings of facades that we may want done, whether the buildings are occupied or not, which is a lovely way to get them back on the commercial real estate market, is to show the vision of what it could be.
Very exciting. Thank you.
Adam, you had some?
And just to add my own 2 cents in, I'll keep it real brief. I've worked with Main Street before, and it's a great organization. It's a great way to utilize existing, as you mentioned, business owners and citizens, and really have them directing the vision of the downtown and really coming together and just making it theirs. In addition, they also do. There's also several other tools that they do, like a downtown historic survey, which I don't even want to know how much that would cost us, but it costs us a lot if we took it upon ourselves to contract it out. So that would be another benefit. So it's a great organization I'm working for, and nothing but good things in my mind.
Great. Thank you.
I move we accept resolution number 2013-14A.
Second.
We'll get to read then?
Oh, I can read it if you want to.
Well, not
Is it what she said?
Yes.
Noah?
A very big yes.
Sexton?
Yes.
Walagora?
Aye.
Tyler?
Yes.
Nielsen?
Yes.
Move we adjourn?
You are watching All About Alpena.